Okay, everybody. If you're just watching this as the first video, you might want to check out my first video on creating the white cross. In each one of my videos here, we'll start with a rough cube, okay, a mixed up cube, and we'll just quickly kind of review real quick everything that we've gone over. So again, step one is we're going to make our white cross. So we always have our white face as our top face. Okay, so we're looking for our 4 white edge pieces. Okay, so in this case, this piece needs to come up to the top. Okay, so again, the explanation that I've been giving is with this piece on the top, but if this piece was on the bottom again, we can be preemptive. Okay, instead of going right up 2, and then we realize that our first move was just down 1, it's basically, we can just go from here, okay, up 1, over 1, and back 1. Okay, now in this case, you notice I didn't rotate the top because I didn't have any other pieces that I needed to preserve. Okay, so I didn't need to do that rotation. Okay, so going a little faster, so this one's already ready to go, so I can just twist it up. Okay, so double brings it up, looking for the next white piece. Okay, so we have one here, so once again, if we just rotate this up, it's not going to be correct. It's going to be positioned but not orientated. So we want to keep it on the side in this case, where again it can be symmetric. I generally use the left a lot. Rotate the top once, okay, then the left up, and then rotate the top back once. Okay, so back and forward, if you guys are paying attention, the first one was clockwise rotation, the second one was counterclockwise. Okay, it's not so big a deal on the top here, but when we get into the other ones, I'll try to be a little bit more diligent in counterclockwise, clockwise rotations, so you guys know what's going on. And lastly, the last piece here. So here's an example of what I was talking about in step 1, where this piece we need to get out. Okay, so if I want to get it on the bottom, that's what allows it to move around the cube easy. Okay, so if I rotate this down, okay, and then start rolling it over, you can see that I've moved this piece from its desired position. So I rotate it down once, so in this case, okay, I apologize if I'm moving the cube around here, but so in this case, with blue being the face, so I'm going to rotate it down. Okay, so this piece going down to the bottom, okay, which means right counterclockwise. Now I'm just going to move the bottom, rotate the bottom once, so in this case I'm just going to rotate it clockwise once. Now in order to avoid having this piece disturbed, I want to rotate this back up. Okay, but now you can see the edge piece that was here is now on the bottom. Okay, and in this case it worked out in that rotation. There are some tricks that I'm trying to avoid here. I'm trying to be as generic as possible. And in this case this has come right back up. So there we go. So now in 2 minutes, 2.5 minutes, we've completed the white cross. So the next piece is going to be the top face corners, where once again we're going to worry about position and orientation. Okay, so now some of these, they might work out that obviously they're in the correct position and orientation, or in the correct position but not orientated, this and that. Okay, so like in this piece, right, it's positioned correctly, right, because it's blue, red, white. This is where it's supposed to go, but it's not orientated. The white obviously has to come up, blue has to come over, red has to go down. You guys get the idea. Okay, so in order to do this, let's just start with a slightly easier scenario here, which is, again, we want to be moving these pieces, these corner pieces with the white, in the bottom face. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to look for, okay, so here we go, on the bottom face I already have one of the corners. So it's the green, red, white corner, pardon me, which in this case is, okay, I want this to come right up to here. So now, this is a common thing, so what I like to do, it's the easiest thing to remember, is that if you can get the piece that has to go right up here, if you can get it directly beneath it in the bottom row, okay, there's basically 3 possibilities. The white face can be here, the white face can be here, or the white face can be on the bottom. Now in this case, with the white face being on the right side, okay, right side of the cube, looking at it this way, so if this was my front face, okay, if it's on the right side, the sequence is simply we take our right face, okay, we rotate it counterclockwise, okay, or down, okay. Our bottom, it would be counterclockwise, okay, so you can see, and then simply we rotate our right face back up. So what that's done, that sequence has done, is it's taken the piece that was down here with the white face here, and it's now brought it up and positioned it and orientated it correctly. So now let's go to the bottom again. Hopefully there's another white. Yes, there is. Okay, so now we have the orange, blue, and white. Okay, so I'm going to move this around the bottom. Now again, I can move this as many times as I want, and it obviously does nothing to affect the top. Okay, so where'd it go? So here we go. So blue, orange, and white. So we're going to rotate it over here. So now it's directly beneath where I want it to go. And now in this case, it's not on the right. It's now on the bottom. So the sequence, so now you can, as I said in the first video, I try to give you guys the least amount of sequences, but you might just have to do them over and over again. It's just, I'm slightly older, and I found this solution was the easiest for me to remember. And again, this is by no means anywhere close to anything with regards to speed. It's just a good all-around generic solution to solve the cube. So maybe for our older audience, this is the one to watch. Okay, so once again, it's on the bottom. So the sequence is, direct sequence from the bottom would be, okay, so same thing, we're going to rotate it down. Okay, now what we want to do in order to preserve this piece is we want to get this piece in the opposite position, which is over here. Okay, so we were talking about here, so we want to put it in the opposite. So again, okay, so this is where, whoops, sorry about that. Okay, so this is where we were. Okay, so it's on the bottom. So what we're going to do, so the direct sequence is down. Okay, so right counterclockwise, bottom clockwise once. Okay, then what we're going to do is we're going to bring the right face back up, so right clockwise. So now we're preserving our cross. And now what we're going to do is we're going to take our front face, okay, and we're going to rotate it clockwise. So now again, this is the corner that ultimately is incorrect, so we're going to rotate this down. Now what we do is we take our bottom face. Now the piece that we want is hidden back here in the corner, so we have to turn it twice, or a double. Okay, so once, twice. Now again, for those of you that haven't made the connection, going double doesn't matter if you go clockwise twice or counterclockwise twice. It ultimately does the same thing. Okay, and it brings that piece there, and then what we do is we rotated our front face clockwise, so now we're going to rotate our front face counterclockwise, and you can see now that the direct sequence from the bottom, or from directly beneath, if the white face is on the bottom, this sequence will bring it directly up to the top. Okay, so now looking at this sequence here, now this is a piece that is positioned correctly but not orientated. So now once again, all we're going to do is just to, again, keep it simple, want to just get this piece to the bottom. So what we're going to do is we're going to take here, and we're going to rotate. Now again, I could ultimately take my front face, okay, that would bring that piece to the bottom as well. Okay, now it's kind of potato, whatever sequences you like. I generally use left and right a lot as opposed to front, and don't do really anything with the back unless I'm solving a 5x5 Rubik's Cube. So in this case, I'm going to take my right, and I'm just going to bring it down, okay, which in this case would be a right counterclockwise rotation. Now once again, just going to get it out of the way. Now in this case, actually I'm going to rotate it this way. Get it out of the way, and then I'm just going to rotate my right face back up, or right clockwise. Okay, so now we can see that the right face is on the bottom. Pardon me, the white face, or the white corner, pardon me, is now on the bottom, so I'm just going to rotate it so directly underneath of where I want it. Now in this case again, we have the solution, or the situation where we have our white face, okay, of this corner cube on the right hand side. So again, this sequence was right counterclockwise, okay, bottom counterclockwise, right clockwise, and it will bring it up. Okay, so again, step 1, white cross. Step 2 now is the corners, position and orientate. Now the last thing is, again here, so we have our, basically the exact same situation as we had before. Okay, so once again, there is direct sequences, but again, I'm trying to give you guys the least amount of sequences that you might just have to do a couple times over to solve the cube. So here we go. So again, right counterclockwise. Okay, now again, just get it out of the way. So it could be a bottom clockwise or bottom counterclockwise rotation, just to get it out of the way. Okay, and then actually maybe I'll do the other one. Okay, so get it out of the way there, and then up to here. Now, okay, so now the piece that was here is now on the bottom. Now once again, I have the sequence where this piece, the white piece or face, pardon me, is on the bottom. So again, I have my right counterclockwise, bottom double to tuck it in that back corner, and then the right face back up or clockwise, and then front down or clockwise. Okay, we're going to take this white piece over here now, and we're going to double. So again, doesn't matter counterclockwise or clockwise, we're just going to take and double, and then we're simply going to take our front face. Did I do that correctly? Where'd it go? Okay, I don't know what happened there. I was obviously talking and not paying attention to what I was doing. But anyways, in this case, the white face has popped up on the side now, which if it's here or here, I know I haven't talked about it if it's here. If it's here, it's basically the mirror of what happens if it's here. Okay, so in this case, it's down, okay, and then we can bring it over and then back up. Okay, so let me just show you here if it's okay. So if the corner piece has the white face on this side, okay, it's simply what we do is we get it out of the way. Okay, so we take the bottom and we rotate it counterclockwise. Then we take our right face and bring it down. Okay, which would be counterclockwise, and then we can bring the right face or the bottom face, pardon me, back. Okay, which would be a clockwise rotation. We line up our whites and then we bring it back up. Okay, which would be right clockwise. And there we have it. We have our first layer. Okay, so it's all white, obviously. Okay, so some of you guys can give yourself a big pat on the back now. Might be what was it, 1980? So it might be 31 years since you've been able to do this. But you now have a white face. Okay, of which is also on the adjacent sides. Okay, for if we're using white, which would be orange, green, red, and blue, they're also correct. Okay, so check out my next video when we get to the next step, which is solving the middle edges.